Oh,
Sorry.
Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Please check out our other podcast, Miguel and Holly Full Show, Miguel and Holly Queen City Confessions. And also, right now, we still have up links from our teachers that we were helping to clear their list. So if you want to buy one item off of one of our teachers' lists, it would mean the world to them.
Mm-hmm.
I know the teacher that we talked to on Friday, by like the end of the day, she was like, no one's bought anything
Was
off
it Miss
my list.
Charles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, no one's bought anything off my list. And I said, well,
She's like, is my list not working?
and I was like, we'll keep pushing. So maybe you got paid, you got some extra dollars, and you want to buy a stapler for a teacher, hit up the Miguel and Holly Instagram and click on the link in bio. Holly, how was your weekend?
Honestly, it was a little boring. It was a little boring, but good in a way. I mean, we got done what we needed to do. Like Teddy, my dog, was a dirty old mess. He was stanky. So gave him a little bath outside, which was nice because we went to my fiance's parents' house and they have a nice pool in the backyard where we wash the dog and then we get in the pool afterwards. Not him. He's skittish, which is weird. Like doodles are supposed to be swimmers, not Teddy. Like we have tried a couple of times to like gently guide him out into the pool. Hey, come out here. And we get him all the way out and then we like kind of let go. And they should start doing the doggy paddle.
Mm-hmm.
He's like limbs are flailing doing the doggy paddle and he's trying to drink all of the water in the pool.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, okay, it's not going to work. So that's fine. That's fine.
Teach one.
Yeah.
Like, do you have to teach dogs how to swim or do they just automatically know?
I'm pretty sure they just know.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was doing something. It just looked like he was doing it crazily.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know.
Wow.
So we did that. And then, like I said, it was a little boring. It was like a little, not a lot going on. My fiance is, I think, I don't know, we're in a weird sort of not playing by the book mood for him because I keep track of all of his bipolar symptoms and like his moods. And typically this time of year, he's a little like up in a not great way. Like it's a little bit irritable, manic or hypomanic, meaning not quite as manic. But this year is not the same. Like it's not following the pattern of the past several years that we kind of go by. And so he's sort of working with his psychiatrist. He's going to be thinking about like a new medication within the next couple months, but we wanted to get past this hump around Labor Day where we know he gets a little bit rocky. But this past weekend, he was more so depressed than anything. And so, you know,
Is there anything that triggers it or is it just a cycle?
it could be environmental. There could be a thing that triggers it. But we couldn't really figure out any environmental triggers. For this weekend particularly, I wonder too, because I was like, well, this is sort of weird because cyclically, this is a time for you to be up, not down. But he is kind of coming down off of one medication. And so we're like, maybe that's causing some bumps along the way as he gets prepared to maybe go on a different medication. So it could be that because this medication has kept him in sort of a depressive state all year, which is kind of good. He would tell you, he would glare at me because he's like, I don't want to be depressed all year. I get it. But also it was better than like there has been zero outbursts or like we usually get into one big blow up fight around this time of year and we haven't. And so that's been good, but also like you can go too far the other side where now you're just depressed all the time. So we're just trying to move things along and figure that out. So this weekend was, I'll just be honest, it was like a little rough between him and I, because he was sort of feeling very low energy, very depressed. And we didn't really talk a lot yesterday. And I knew that was what was going on, but I did bring it up in the middle of the day. I was like, so what's going on? Like, what are you feeling? And he's like, I'm just tired. And I'm like, I know you're not just tired. So by the end of the day, like by the time we got in bed, I was like, it didn't feel good today. Like, it just didn't feel good because you were sort of in your own bubble, and I'm here too. Like, you don't exist in a vacuum. And so I'm like, I know that you're going through something, so I'm giving you grace for that. But also, at some point, it matters how I feel about the situation too. So we kind of had that discussion, and he gets it, obviously, but it's hard when you're feeling that way. So anyway, just some bipolar growing pains. But other than that, I got a lot done on yesterday because since he was like sort of in his depressive bubble, I washed the sheets on the bed, which he then helped me put on. I gave him a couple tasks. And I was like, while you're just there, can you go change the battery in our ring alarm? Can you help me with these bed? And so, like, make your egg bites for the week. So he did some things, and I like did the laundry. I vacuumed the house. I called my dad. It was my dad's birthday on Saturday. Called my friend Heather. It's her birthday yesterday. So I did some things, and I felt like I was productive. So that was a good check mark. And then we just finished out the night with the movie. So that was my weekend.
Producer Kelbin?
I feel like my weekend started on Thursday, to be quite honest. We had some friends come in town. We were celebrating his birthday, Alex. We went to Oscar's parents actually were in town. My fiance's parents were in town. And so we went to lunch with them. And the boys also came along with us. So everybody was meeting each other. But one thing you should know about my mother-in-law, she is a yapper, like legitimately queen of Yap Town, like more than all of y'all combined. And
I don't know anybody that yaps more than us.
You will meet your match with this woman.
Really?
Yes, she is a storyteller. I have the attention span of a squirrel. So for me, when she's speaking, and especially in Spanish, and I'm not a no sabo kid, like I know Spanish, but there is something about when someone is speaking in Spanish for a long time that I start to just like disassociate. And so midway through her story, but the good thing about her, what I like, is that I can just say, oh, all right. Yeah. And she keeps going. She doesn't even bat an eye. She doesn't ask me no questions. She just keeps going.
She just wants to hold court and everybody just listen to her.
Exactly. So that was that.
Wait, so when y'all were at lunch with your friends, do they speak Spanish as well?
No.
Or was she speaking Spanish with them? Okay, so she was speaking English.
She was speaking English, but even when she speaks in English, I still dissociate.
Wait, so what are her stories like when y'all were at lunch? Is she just talking about like Oscar as a kid, or?
So that's what I try to do when there's other people around, and like it's not that this happens quite often that our friends come and have dinner with her, but I felt like, hey, I have been in their positions where she's telling stories that really maybe just Oscar kind of knows about, whether she's talking about family members or something that happened with another family member. I try to circle it back so then everybody's involved in the storytelling. So I always like when she talks about Oscar's ghost encounters when he was like around 13, 14, 15.
Wait, what? You've never told us this before.
Yeah, Oscar when he was younger, he would see shit like. And when I think younger, I think like, 7, 6, that makes sense. Like, no, this heifer was like doing it at like 14, 15. Like,
what?
He could see things. And
wait, what are some of these stories you've never? This is new. I'm curious now.
Yeah. There was one story where, God, I hope he doesn't get mad that I'm telling his family's business. But from what I gathered, because I did dissociate a few times.
You're like, I have the beginning and the end, not the middle.
Correct. There was a family member that was going through some certain situation in a house, and she called my fiance's mother, and she was like, "Please help me. Like the doors are closing. Like I'm feeling things in the house." Oh, she felt a black tunnel every time she would go into a certain room in the house.
Oh,
and so my fiance's mom, she doesn't really believe in any of that stuff. She's very religious, very Catholic. And so she doesn't really believe in that stuff, but she did call up another aunt to go with her to go help her out because that's who she is. She will help you if you ask. So I remember her going she said that she had gone to the house and she was feeling a lot of things. There was a priest that came and was, blessing all the house and things like that.
A priest over there?
And apparently Oscar had said something to his mom saying like, "I don't want to go inside the house." And she was like, "Why?" And he was like, "I don't feel right. Like, I don't feel good about this." And then later on, I think as she came back, I think Oscar had become pale and he had told her that he saw a woman, or he saw some sort of like black energy around the woman, that apparently there was a hex on her.
What in the world?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Kelvin, where are you even sitting on this story?
Sorry. I'm pretty sure I'm giving you like probably not the correct details, but I know those are the heavy hitters. Like those are the heavy parts about it. There's more backstory to it that she had talked about. But yeah, so Oscar has had that was his worst story, I believe. He has a few others. But yeah, he used to encounter a lot of things like that. And so I love it when she says those stories, because this is a religious woman who like doesn't believe in any of that shit.
Wow.
And so yeah, so I love when she kind of shares those stories, and then, you know, our friends Shay and Alex are there to hear them out.
It's funny you say that, because this morning I got kind of freaked out, because when I opened my eyes, I was facing, like I was on my side, and I was facing where my phone and watch are charging. And I reached over to turn my alarm off. And when I opened my eyes, I got startled, because I could have sworn in the darkness it looked like there was a face near my phone charging. And I was like, oh. And so, like, you know, like when your alarm goes off, it lights up your phone. So I immediately grabbed the phone and shined the lights at the thing. And then, of course, it was gone. But then I was like, well, there ain't no snoozing this morning, because that got me right the fuck up. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I had to like sit there for a second, and I'm like, did I just imagine that? Was it like a remnant from my dream, or did I actually see a face this morning? So that kind of got me like spooked up this morning as I was getting ready.
I'm just going to say something real quick, and I'm going to retreat back after I say it. Dear David.
No, dear David.
No.
Didn't they make the movie already and it like flopped?
Yeah, the movie was horrible.
Yes, it was terrible, but it wasn't based on the guy that actually wrote the thing. It was like he used to work for BuzzFeed, then BuzzFeed took his story because he was like working for them, so they used his material and they fucked it up.
Which is kind of good now, because now when I think about Dear David, and by the way, Dear David, if you don't know what that is, you can Google it, but it's a story from way back in the day of this guy who had these encounters with this entity, this little boy in his house, this creature that he kept seeing, and he was documenting it on Twitter, and he was a reporter for BuzzFeed. But the whole thing is super, super creepy. And so whenever you try like to forget about it, and then of course when you in the dark recesses of your mind at night,
that shit
it'll
will come
just be
right
like
back in there.
David, and you're like,
and that's why I try to stay away
not.
from too much spooky stuff, because I will be alone in the dark, and suddenly that's all I can think about, and I'm like, damn it. But anyway, if you really want to be scared by Dear David, I would recommend going and like reading the actual account on Twitter.
Yeah, not the movie.
That's probably not still up, but like maybe it's posted on BuzzFeed.
I'm sure on like
it's
Reddit
somewhere.
or something.
You can actually read it tweet by tweet, because it just grows increasingly like terrifying. But don't watch the movie. Fuck that.
I did bring up soul worker Stacy to Oscar's mom, and she was not having it.
Yeah, no,
She was not having it. I was like, listen, you know, it was really hard for me to believe certain things too, but I've seen her work. I've seen her do it multiple times. And I was like, she does it through God. And she was like, son, do not. And I was like, I'm not convincing you, ma'am. I'm just saying, like, I have seen it in person. She does some really cool stuff.
But there is always a comeback for the religious person.
100%.
Which is to say that is not coming from Jesus.
Literally. Exactly what she said.
That's exactly what they'll say. So you doesn't matter what you say. Just that's not the audience.
She was not having it.
No.
So that was pretty funny. And then right after that, we went to Concord to go to an escape room, which was fairly easy. I don't know. I hated, everybody was super impressed. Like everybody was super excited. It was, you know how sometimes you go to escape rooms and they're a little rinky dink and you gotta have to like jigger a few things to like open up. This one was not that. It was beautifully made, but it was so easy. But all the boys were impressed. So I didn't want to be the Debbie Downer about it. I was just like, yeah, it was great. So we did that, had dinner. Hold
on real quick before you continue. I just looked at the comments.
I absolutely wanted to highlight Pamela.
Pamela said, I'm an Uber driver, and yesterday all day, drivers got a request from a girl at some lake, but the security guard said nobody is there. I got the request twice and wonder, was it a spirit?
Yes, probably.
Pamela, I'm assuming you're in Charlotte, I think. If you are, can you message us on Instagram? Because if you're in Charlotte, I'd love to talk to you on the air tomorrow about that.
Wait, tomorrow? We're not going to bank it for...
Yeah.
October?
No, I mean, listen, to me, spooky
Season now.
season's here, girl. It was
Spooky season is
61
all-
degrees this morning.
But the high today's like 90.
It is, but this morning I was like, spooky season here.
I wanna go
It's
to the
here.
pool.
It's here. So Pamela, message us on Instagram if you're in Charlotte. I'd love to get you on the air tomorrow. I'm sorry. So then, Kelbin, you said y'all went to
Then
dinner?
We went to dinner. I can't remember what we ate. I can't remember, nothing important. Then Friday, the boys came to the station. We got to show them around. I literally have to go through photos because I start to forget my weekend.
Same. I know I did stuff on Friday night. I don't remember what it
I just
was.
don't
Oh, I
remember
wanted to
what it
order
was.
pizza. That's what we did.
Who did you?
Yes, it was delicious.
From where?
Actually, it wasn't great, which
Oh.
is a little bit sad.
Oh.
It has been great before. We went to Slice of the Berg, which is delicious.
Another one
It's my new
downtown?
favorite. It's actually up 4th Street, like over by where K Pasa is, like where you used to live.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
it's in there.
Yep.
And they have this. It's like a hot honey or like a sweet heat pizza.
Mm.
It's freaking delicious. However, we got cauliflower crust. We've gotten it 3 times now. The first on regular pizza, which was like, holy shit, just kill me. It was so good. The second time we got on cauliflower crust and it was still good. So on Friday, we got cauliflower crust and they overcooked it.
That's
And
never good.
You can't overcook a pizza. Like it's just not, especially not cauliflower crust. It gets all burnt up. Anyway.
Yeah, I forgot that place. Slice of the Burger. It used to be called something else
It
when
was
I lived.
West Shore Pizza.
That's right. And it was kind of hit or miss for me because like sometimes it would make my stomach get the gurgles.
Yes, exactly. Well, when it was West Shore Pizza, it always
Yeah.
gave me like a bad, but I've enjoyed every time Slice of the Berg except Friday when they overcooked it. Anyway, this is not my story. Sorry.
May I speak?
No.
Anyway, so yeah, nothing. Went to the pool Friday, relaxed Saturday, took the niece to Carowinds. We almost made her cry.
Why did you
after-
put her on such a bad roller coaster?
She wanted to get on. She wanted to get on all of them, and it was her birthday. So we were like, this is the 6th tallest roller coaster in the world.
How old did she turn?
She turned 11.
Oh
She's
my
about to
goodness.
turn 11.
So she's the same age as Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Maya would not. I
She
had
was
to pull her onto Cheetah Hunt over at Busch
She,
Gardens.
poor thing. Like she was definitely startled after Fury 325 at Carowinds, which is the 6th tallest
That's
roller
too much
coaster
for
in the
a
world.
little one.
She was like shook and she was like about to cry and she was silent for a little bit, but then we got her some ice cream and then she was fine.
Ice cream does help a lot of things.
And then we went on the red one. I think it's called Thunder Striker or something. And it's like the second like craziest ride at Carowinds. We should have done that one first. But she was super happy with that one. She went on a second time straight right after. And we were like, okay, cool. So we were good with that. And that was my Saturday, Sunday. Didn't do anything noteworthy. That was my weekend.
Well, it sounds like fun. Friday or this weekend was sort of like the birthday celebration. So Friday we went to my friend Spencer's pool and hot tub and had a little like afternoon pool hot tub session. So that was really fun. It was really funny. My friend John Riley and Abe, they went inside of Spencer's house and they made these beignets for us, homemade beignets.
Beignets?
Yes.
They're over here letting dough rise?
Yes.
Like, what is going on?
Like literally John Riley brought the dough from his house and they made them and whatnot. And then they brought them out and then they were like, you just have to try it. And then of course they fucking filmed me doing it. And by this point, I was like good and tipsy. And so I had on my political face when I tried it. And it was not that great.
Why? You're such a little liar. Because online you said 8 out of 10.
I felt bad because
Why
made
was it bad?
it. Well, and then he said the next
Beignets
day.
are not easy to make, I'm going to say.
No. And apparently like he didn't have the right milk because it requires cream or whole milk. But he only had
that?
skim. Yeah.
Oh, skim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do shit with skim milk.
It's
No.
true.
Yeah. And so in the video, I'm like, this is good.
You want to go in
Big
going, les
bitch.
le bon temps roulé. And then you bite it and you're like, oh, no.
No. But it was really funny because he put up the video of me like trying it. And then the next slide on Instagram was this famous clip of Oprah trying this food that this lady brought in that didn't have any salt or pepper on it. And Oprah's trying it on the show and she's like, well, this is something. She's like, did you use any salt or pepper? And the lady's like, no.
Oh.
And Oprah was like, well, you can use salt and pepper if you do it.
Oh my God.
And that was literally me, but it was a sweet gesture. And then Saturday we did brunch for my birthday at State of Confusion, which they have. And it's so funny here in North Carolina because the liquor laws are so strict.
Yeah.
And so like they can't legally do happy hours. You can't do drink specials. So like no one in North Carolina has bottomless mimosas, but they do heavily discounted drinks. So it's everyone tries to get away around it. So you'll never hear bottomless brunch, but it'll be like, 2 for $1. But anyway, so at State of Confusion, they had a carafe of mimosas and it was in this big mason jar for $14. And they were like, and when they brought him over, we were like, how much champagne is in there? And she was like, it's a bottle and a half for $14.
Bitch.
My Auntie Pearl is calling me.
Oh, go
and
ahead,
I feel
please.
like I might need to take that. Let me just.
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
Now tell me about your alcohol.
So yeah, it was intense. So brunch was supposed to be like all right, we'll like go to one other place or whatever. After we left brunch, we were like,
Bitch,
yeah, girl.
I saw that photo. There was one missing, but it was like the Avengers of all your fucking friends, like all of them, even the ones that probably don't even mingle with each other. They were all there. So I was getting the itch, like just seeing your photos, and I was like, I want to go out.
Yeah,
Like I want to go have fun.
Yeah, you should have
slutty outfit.
Yes, honey.
No, but I couldn't because we had Oscar's sister and his niece staying with us even after Carol wins, which is fine. Like loved hanging out with them. But I did want to go out, bitch.
You should have come. So yeah, after that we went to the pickleball place rally for a little bit, and then we ended up at I can't remember where else we went after that. Oh, we ended up we went to Vinyl. It's a really cool place. If you ever visit Charlotte, if you're not from here, Vinyl, and it's a South End bar, but they play like hip hop music and whatnot there, which is really cool, like old school hip hop. So that was fun. And so then we went to this random Chapel Roan dance party.
Oh,
at the Music Yard, and somebody just found it online, and we were like, well, let's go do that. That was really, really fun. Like, it was just the most random thing that we ended up at.
those are fun time when you don't plan it, but you stumble upon like a really good time.
Yeah. And so what was really cool is just seeing, people love Chapel Roan. And you can just see that people were super excited, and they had the Pink Pony Club outfits on and whatnot. So that was cool. And then we ended up, and then I was like, I really just wanted to see a drag show. So we went to.
Because you don't see
This
enough
is a
drag shows.
12-hour fucking day.
Oh, I know. This was like
you see a drag show probably every single weekend. You're like, I just really want to see what you act like you haven't seen one in a year.
Right.
I know. But
or like a decade.
But literally, I think why I like the Scorpio, the new club that's opened here, is because they like put an emphasis on the drag show. Whereas like a lot of clubs, because drink sales normally stop during drag shows because everyone's watching.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times in gay clubs now, they're like, girl, you can go to brunch and see a drag show. But for here, we're going to just speed through it. You get 3 numbers and then that's it. Whereas each queen gets to do 2 numbers. It's a whole show that they put on. So it was really, really good. And then they were like, is anyone's birthday today? Anyone celebrating a birthday?
Did you raise your hand?
I didn't want to, but then everybody raised my hand and I was like, oh God, what the hell? Because at this point we've been drinking since 11:30 noon.
Bar, club, another club. That's
club.
you.
No sleep.
But thankfully the girl that was hosting it was new, and she was like, I don't know if I can get y'all shots or something. So she just had to say our birthdays. And then I had a funny line. She was like, what's your name? Miguel. How old are you? And I was like, late 30s.
Late 30s. That's not an age.
In the 30s. Just in the 30s.
I'm a 30-something.
I know.
I'm continuing my 30-somethingness.
But I felt like I had to feather my cap because everybody in the club laughed, and I was like, okay.
You're like,
I was like, comedian done. Thank you.
yep.
And so she was like, no, how old are you, bitch? And I was like, 39. And so that was fun. And then The rest of the night was pretty easy. Like I wasn't out until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Well, you started so early.
I know. I was
I
like,
don't know how you could.
I know everybody who was like lasted up until that long was like, we gotta go home.
Yeah.
This is your birthday's killing us all right now.
Yeah. That's
So
time to wrap it up.
then on Sunday, yesterday, we went to Carolina Ascent, the women's soccer club. I'm gonna say I was a little disappointed because there was like almost nobody there. I mean, it was very underattended, and you saw lots. I mean, there was like this. So we have a box because iHeartRadio, we're partners with them, and so we have like this box that's outside, but it's covered under the shade. But like the whole section in front of where we were, there was like nobody there, and I was like, I just felt bad for the girl. I mean, you know, obviously they played with their full hearts and souls and everything, and you could tell. But I'm like, this is really disappointing because
women's sports truly don't get the same attendance as men's sports. Yeah, it just doesn't.
No,
and it's weird because they sold out their first game.
Yeah, but this one, it was just like, Now, granted, it was at 2:30. It was the middle of the day. It was hot. But I'm like, girl, they be packing out Bank of America for the Panthers and the Charlotte FC and whatnot. So that was just a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But like, why is that? Do people just not think that women can do it?
I don't know. Or like, since there is a disparity, like you don't see it televised as much, so it's like not as much on people's minds, and like the stakes don't feel as high. I partly, but I don't know whose fault it is. Like, I don't know is it the media's fault for not showing it, but then people not watch it, and so they're not getting the demand, and so they won't get the advertising dollars if they put it on TV. Like, I don't know which came first. You know what I mean? Like, whose original root fault is this? And I think it really starts off with, for the longest time, it was just men's sports,
the patriarchy,
and then women's sports were like, hey, we're here too.
Right.
But it's like the audience isn't there. I'm not sure maybe who the audience should be, because I feel like a lot of men, like straight, you know, alpha males, don't really want to watch chicks doing this. They want to watch their dudes. And like, I would argue that probably males would be the overwhelming majority of the people that watch sports, even though there's plenty of women that watch sports. So then, okay, is the audience women? Maybe, but like, are they marketing it towards women? I don't ever get marketed towards. I never feel like anything is shown to me in a way that's like, hey, did you know?
Right.
So maybe it's like a mismessaging point. Like, who are they trying to reach? Who do they think their audience is? Who is their audience? These are all questions I don't know.
I mean, when we were there, you know, I mean, to be 100% honest, I mean, it's very well documented. I'm not a sports person, so it's not like I have a lot of knowledge of what the typical sports person demographic is.
Right.
But I have been to the Charlotte FC, our professional men's soccer team. I've been to one of their games. I haven't been to a Panthers or Hornets game. So I don't have a lot of comparison to this, but I mean, like, it was a lot of families. There were a lot of children. I mean, there was a couple of listeners that I ran into from the day before out and about who were there at the game when they were like, oh, because tickets start at $22. So
which is a great price for a family.
Yeah.
And I think it involves families so much is because you have boys and girls playing soccer.
Right.
And they want to see that regardless of, like, once you get up into I just feel like with families, it's like you could bring your 12-year-old daughter and be like, look, this is what you could be doing or whatever. You know what I mean? So maybe families are the better marketplace to start anyway, but it should be all reaching.
Yeah. So it was just disappointing to see that. But we did have fun though. I love the cheerleading squad, or the pep squad. I'm not 100% sure what their names are, but they were on the field, but they were like, and we were behind them where we were. We were kind of high up because this stadium is sort of like in ground almost, the way it is, the way that it was built back in the 20s or 30s. They've redone it a lot since then. So they could hear us. And so like whenever the girls would cheer, we would start going like, yeah, girl, work it, honey. And there was like 2 black girls towards the end who saw me and they were like, okay, I see you. And they start backing it up and stuff. And I was like, that's right, girl. Yes. But then I love it because there was this one girl on the squad who I feel like she was hungover or she didn't want to be there because all the other girls were like, yes, Carolina, I said, go. And then this one girl towards the end was just like,
Oh no.
I was like, I don't think she wants to be there. She
no.
we were like, come on, girl. We trying to pump you up. Let's get it, girl. Let's get it.
Yeah. What are you doing? What's going on here?
But it was really fun. They had free food there too, so that was nice.
Mhm.
But then we had to leave at halftime because I think all the drinking from the day before and the heat started to catch up.
Yeah. And you're dehydrated.
Yeah. So I went to the bathroom towards the end of the first half, and having digestive issues in public is not the most comfortable.
Not pleasant.
I don't think anybody likes it.
Nobody does.
No. And so at that point, and they had brought out all these hot dogs and chicken sandwiches for us to have in our iHeartRadio box. And I ate half a hot dog and my stomach was just like, I was like, we got to go.
Oh, no.
We got to go.
Oh,
We gotta
no.
go.
Like, you were there with friends, right? Like, you weren't even there with Abe. Where you could be like, I gotta
No. Well, I mean, listen, it was our friend Leighton and Eric. So I was like, y'all.
Oh yeah, you can
They
tell them
know.
anything.
I am
Yeah.
so sorry. I have brought y'all here and we were going to stay the whole game, but I got to get home.
Oh,
My
It's time
stomach.
to wrap it up. Oh, man.
Yeah. So I didn't get to.
I feel you as someone who deals with digestive issues on the very regular because I don't have a gallbladder. You just never know. Sometimes it's gonna hit you and sometimes it's not. But then when it hits you, I'm like, I'm just gonna be in the bathroom for a while.
Right. And I thought I was fine because Sunday morning I woke up and I made breakfast. I made grits and eggs and bacon at home. And I was feeling fine and I had had my water. And then I don't know, maybe the grits got me because by the time we were sitting down there and I ate half that hot dog and my stomach was like, oh, bitch, you don't fucked up. And I was like, we gotta go.
Yep.
But it was nice. And then after that, went home, relaxed, and had my Ruru's tacos last
By
night.
then you were probably feeling a little better.
Yeah. So that was good. So
bitch can eat.
yeah, I sure can. And I had my steak taco, and I had my buffalo chicken taco, and my queso.
So
was
the
real good.
Ozempic wasn't Ozempicing.
No,
It picks
Last
and
night.
chooses, it seems.
Well,
Right.
as you get closer to your next shot, it wears off, and so you're just like,
You're like, I'm gonna sneak in a couple of extra little things.
So it was real good.
Oh my god.
It's just I've been ordering from this place now for probably almost 2 years now.
I know. I'm really shocked that the shine hasn't worn off on Ruru's
At
tacos.
all.
I've
no.
not had it, by the way. Still,
Oh, next
I'm
time.
making it a point because I'll be there in September. We will be going.
I like spicy, but that buffalo chicken made me sweat a lot.
Oh, is it too spicy? I can't. do
Not
it. It's too
even.
much.
I don't know what it did, but it made me sweat the back of my neck.
Well, was it hot when you went? Hot outside, weather-wise?
It was June. Maybe the window was open. I can't remember. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because I love it.
I would like to try it.
But see, now I feel like it won't be as good because I've been
I
hyping it up
know.
for 2 years.
But it's just,
You really
and
have.
I'm gonna not go in. I'm gonna try not to go in with high expectations because it's just your favorite thing. I might not like your favorite thing.
Right.
It's just your favorite.
Well, and I will say too, they're not the best tacos you have ever had in your life. It's just solid and it's good, and they have the tacos that I like, and I really enjoy their queso.
You,
So-
you don't
You
have
love
to.
queso.
You don't have to be defensive about it. to
I'm
me.
like, I just
I-
don't want you to go because I've had a couple of friends that have been like, I gotta try this. You talk about this shit all the time, and then they're like, I mean, it was a taco, and I'm like, it's not the
Yeah.
best, but it's
maybe
just-
I'll try it in secret, and I will never tell you if I don't like it.
Right, that's right. So next time you come and you have one of those solo adventures, don't tell me you had it if you don't like it. But if
I
you
will
do,
not.
then you'll be like, okay, now I see why.
Right, exactly. So that's the plan.
All right, well, we are out of here today. Kelbin, what's your social media?
At Kelbin Live, TikTok, Twitter. But really, I'm just on Instagram.
Holly?
Radio Holly, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads.
Mine is at Miguel Fuller. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads as well. And if you want to see my political retweets, because that's all I do on Twitter, I'm also there as well. All right, we will see you.